Thank you so much, Jackie. I really appreciate all those comments. It's pretty awesome that you could make it here. And thanks to all our friends and neighbors, everybody who made it here. It's really heartwarming, you know, to send out 100 invitations and look at everybody that came. You know? I thought I had 8 friends, and I found out I have over 100 friends. It really warms my heart, but I thank each and every one of you for taking the time out of your day on this 2017 Earth Day to come and join this day with us. So, well, you know, when you spend a lot of time out in this ranch like I have in the past, you really appreciate what you have going out here. And you know, thousands of years ago, the Chumash roamed these hills and walked up and down through these canyons. They earned a living on this land, and it was important to them. And they taught it to generations that came after them. In 1780s, the mission was founded. And with the mission came the cattle and the herds of horses. There were thousands of cattle on 43,000 acres out here. That was all part of the Rancho X mission. And this particular ranch right here was the heart of the Rancho X mission. It was the heart of what the mission had, the first lands that they raised the cattle and the horses on. But after about 60 years, the Spanish turned it over to Spanish land grants. And the European ranchers came in and they settled on the land. And those names included lots, because they included names like Manuel Poli, who run cattle out here, and Jose Arnez, Mr. Ibaru, if you ever heard of Ibaru Street down here, ran sheep in Hall Canyon. There were the Sextons, who had this ranch land where the trust is now and land over into Harmon Canyon. And then there were the Lloyds, who bought what's the Mariano Rancho now. Lewis Lloyd was a retired, colonel in the Confederate Army. And he came and bought this ranch over here in 1985. So past ranchers were important stewards of this land, and they learned from the Spanish, who learned from the Chumash, how to take care of these properties. In the late 1800s, Ralph Lloyd, who was Lewis Lloyd's oldest son, he bought this particular ranch after they founded the oil field, the Ventura Avenue oil field, and he's considered the father of the Ventura Avenue oil field. And they bought this particular ranch off the Sexton family, and it's the land that is the Ventura Conservation Trust today. So we're really proud that that all took place. Let's talk a little bit about these trees. How did these trees get here? Well, rancher Joseph Sexton had a neighbor. His name was Orrin Marin. And the two of them decided they were going to come up and plant 13 eucalyptus trees to mark this property line. And right where this fence is behind you, where you walk through the gate, that's the property line. And on one side was the Lloyd Ranch, and on this side was the Sexton Ranch. And so they planted these 13 trees to mark the western boundary. Orrin Marin came up to water those trees, and he had a few friends that came with him. And one in particular was E.P. Foster, on a regular basis come up to help water these trees, and a lot of other volunteers came along with him. But they didn't have pickup trucks like we do. We're going to have a 300-gallon tank in the back of our pickup trucks. They had mules and horses, and they packed water up about 50 gallons at a time and watered these trees probably a couple times a week until they got established. So these trees were planted in 1898, but in 1903 a wildfire came through this part of the country, and it burned up all the trees but 5. And those 5 trees remained as an important landmark on top of this hill for 37 years. Then in Halloween of 1940, some of our local pranksters thought it'd be a good idea to come up here and cut 3 of those 5 trees down. I think there's a few people here that might know whose dads did it, but nobody really ever wants to fess up. However, some of good citizens like you guys here today in 1956 came up and replanted 3 more trees, once again making it 5 trees. But then in 1958, more vandals came along and cut down 2 trees. And so for a short period of time, in about 1960, we had 3 trees. But then right around 1960, one of the trees fell ill like this one here and fell over and died. So that remained the 2 trees that we see on top of this hill today. And that's how this landmark became 2 trees. The east tree, the east tree on this side over here, this is a tree that was planted in 1998. It's one of the original 13 trees. And the tree that you see over here on the west side, that tree was planted, was one of the replacement trees in the 1950s. So today we're here to replace the original tree that was planted by Joseph Sexton and Orrin Marin in 1898. So I'll tell you a little bit about the people that donated this land, because like I said, Ralph Lloyd bought this ranch off the Sextons. And the Lloyds are a great family. They've done so much around Ventura County. Like I stated previously, Ralph Lloyd was the father of Ventura Avenue oil field. I don't think you have to look into too much research to know how important that was back in the 30s and 40s to the city of Ventura. As a matter of fact, between 1929 and 1935, the city of Ventura tripled because of the Ventura Avenue oil field in population and growth. In the 1940s, like I said, Ralph Lloyd purchased this ranch here, and the Lloyds have had a long history of generous donations. They donated the land where Royal Verde Park sits today. They donated the land where the Poinsettia Pavilion where we park today. They not only donated the land, the Lloyds built the building because Ralph Lloyd had 4 daughters and he thought he should give something to the women of Ventura in the name of his 4 daughters. So he built that women's center for the community. I think that was just... But I want to just follow up by, we all owe Lloyd a huge debt of gratitude because without Lloyd, this conservation trust wouldn't be here and this land wouldn't be protected in perpetuity. And, it's possible to preserve this land in perpetuity, and we did it. So that's what it's going to be. In perpetuity, this land is going to remain in agriculture. This land is going to remain open space. We're going to open this land up for the public to come in and enjoy. We're going to have school kids up here in the 4th grade and teach them about the importance of agriculture and open space and habitat and environment. And we're going to do it together as a community. And with you working with us, we can get all this done.